While I am personally loving career mode this year, I have seen quite a few comments from people saying they're starting to get bored. If you're the kind of person that plays for 1 month and then quits in loads of different saves, hopefully I can share some of my enjoyment of the game to help you enjoy a couple more saves before you decide to call it a day. So sure, some of these tips might seem fairly obvious, but some of them I only know about because I've been playing career mode for over 20 years now, so let's get straight into this video. In my opinion, the pre-save settings page is one of the best things that EA has ever done to help keep career mode more fun. You can change so many things in here, and that means that at least one combination of these settings is going to make your career mode more fun for you. I don't think there's anything that's more entertaining for me than increasing the difficulty to a level where I have to try and make the right choice every single time, otherwise my save will basically be over. Maybe it's just because I enjoy playing games like Dark Souls, but this kind of experience is by far my favourite kind of save. Playing a really difficult save on some of the older games was almost impossible, but thanks to these settings, you can easily do this on FC25. In fact, it used to be really easy to make money with some lower league teams, but now youth players cost so much to hire, the free agents actually get taken by the AI, transfer budgets are about half the amount they used to be, and a lot of the best academy players actually generate at 13, so you're going to have to wait 3 years before you can even promote them. All of these things make the game harder by default, but you can also change the settings to make academy player growth slower, put the board objectives to be even more strict than they start off with, and also pick one of the worst teams in the game. That means that FC25 can actually be one of the most difficult games I've ever played, and that is huge fun if you're someone like me. In some of the worst leagues on FIFA, it's almost impossible to manage for a full season in real life. League 2 in England is one of the most common save locations on the entire game, and there's only one manager that's been at their club for over 4 years, and that's just because Simon Weaver at Harrogate has his own father as the owner of that club. The majority of the league has been there for less than 1 year, and if you do crank the difficulty up, just surviving for a single year by itself is quite difficult, and also an absolute boatload of fun. However, I get it if you're not into super difficult saves, and if you're not, it's probably better for you to pick a narrative or a storyline for your next save instead. These can be a ton of different things depending on what you prefer to use, but some of the most common ones involve rebuilding a club or rebuilding an entire nation. You can also do more unique challenges that are more specific to you, like trying to bring a tactic from the 1940s into the modern day, or try and replicate something that one of your favourite managers at your favourite club did back in the past. Building a nation is one of the more fun storylines, especially if you have some kind of link to one of the smaller nations in the game. A lot of these nations don't have the best national team, like Scotland, Wales and Austria are really fun nations to build in. If you set yourself the goal of trying to get every team in the country up to a certain overall rating, that can be such a good challenge. For example, Scotland. The challenge could be to try and get every team to reach 70 overall, while also making sure the national team reaches a quarter-final in either the World Cup or in the Euros. Having a specific end goal like this in your save does make it a lot less boring, because you're always working towards the exact same target. Picking any storyline works for this. For example, I've made saves where I've tried to get Dele Alli in the England team or win a Ballon d'Or with Anthony Martial. They had specific end goals, and they were some of my favourite saves that I played back on FC24. One of the things that I've also noticed in a lot of saves people have sent me is that they like to use the same players in every single game. This isn't really how football works, and I do think rotating your squad quite often makes the game less boring. If you're someone that's played Ultimate Team, you'll know that sometimes the game is a lot more fun when you've just built a brand new squad. As you play more games with that squad, you'll start to get bored of using it and want to make a new squad. And that's why EA adds so many promos to Ultimate Team. It makes them a lot of money, but it also keeps people engaged by constantly having new players that they can use. It's a shame something like this isn't done for career mode. I don't know how that would work, but instead what you could do is maybe limit every player in your squad to a maximum of 30 appearances every single season. This gives you a really easy target to keep track of. It also lets you use your favourite players in your save for a lot of the games, and forces you to use some of your rotation and maybe some younger players that you wouldn't normally be playing. You could also combine this with different challenges, like trying to win a cup while only using players under 25 years old. Combined, that is just going to make your save a lot more interesting, a lot more entertaining, and therefore a lot less boring. If you do like the idea of limiting who you can use, but also want to use them in every single match, then maybe make the restrictions slightly less harsh. You could do something like only signing players who have under 80 potential and see how far you can take them, see if you can do something like Leicester did in real life. I actually did a save recently where I could only sign players from the bottom 10 national teams on Earth, and it forced me to use 6 players that I have never used before and never would have even considered buying in any normal save. However, now, whenever I see Kamenact in career mode, I'll remember that he was the Sri Lankan holding midfielder that helped me to win a Swiss Cup. Having a restriction on the transfers you can make and the players you can use is actually a really good way to make career mode less boring. You can grow attached to some of these players a bit easier than you can some of the players you already know things about. For example, if you sign Casemiro in a career mode save, you're already going to know exactly what kind of player he is. You might not like him in real life, or you might love him in real life, but playing in career mode isn't going to change your opinion on him, and because you already know who he is and everything about his game, it's going to be slightly more boring than learning something new about a player you've never heard about. Something else that I think helps keep my saves more entertaining is trying to break records. In all of my league guides I've made for FC24, I included a record that you could try to break in your save. I actually had a really fun save on FIFA 17 where I tried to break the championship points record with Aston Villa. It was so fun and it actually went down to the very last game and I managed to beat the points record by 1 point. Trying to break that record was so much fun. Even though I only played a single season on a game that came out about 8 years ago, it was one of my favourite career mode memories for the past couple of years. You could also try and break some individual records, maybe find a youth academy player and try and see if you can get more Ballon d'Ors than Messi got in real life, but I prefer doing team ones because it does let you use some of the other tips that I've mentioned in the video already. So, while breaking records can be a lot of fun, just to keep the game a little bit less boring, I did also have to simulate quite a lot of games in that series. Some of these leagues can have so many matches that it just turns into a bit of a grind trying to finish an entire season. Of course, I should definitely say that you should play any important game in your series, but even if you just play the games on highlights mode, it can make your career mode a little bit faster and help you to enjoy your save a little bit more. Until about a year ago, I used to be one of those people that basically refused to simulate a single game. If I'm playing career mode, of course, I want to play as many games as I can. But when I started simulating matches, I realized I was getting through the seasons faster and I was doing things that I enjoyed more often. For example, a lot of people like the Youth Academy more than anything else in career mode, and if you simulate games, you can see your players growing faster and you get to use them further into their careers. Of course though, if you're really not enjoying career mode, it's totally okay to take a break. Sometimes, my favourite saves have been ones that I've been thinking about for a couple of months while I've been having a break from playing Football Manager and FIFA. That's usually when you get the best ideas for a save. If you're still interacting with football, of course playing it in real life or watching it on TV, you'll get so many good ideas, and eventually you'll find the one that you need to absolutely love career mode, just like I'm doing this year. But thank you for watching this video. If you've got any tips that you think can help keep career mode less boring, then make sure you leave them in the comments below. But I'll see you soon. Cheers and goodbye.